for folks to use. So if they cannot come tonight, they can watch it. And then if you need to rewatch the orientation because you forgot something, you can access that. This is Melanie. Melanie is our executive director, and she's going to do the beginning part of the presentation. So I'm going to hand it over to Melanie.
All right, and I'm just going to share my screen here with everyone. So just give me 2 seconds to do that. All right, and
before we start too, if you have any questions throughout the presentations, feel free to put it in the chat and we'll have some time at the end to talk about them as well, okay?
great. Well, first of all, I'd like to just start off by thanking everyone so much for volunteering and giving your time and energy to be part of Nocturne this year. I really, really appreciate it. Personally, this is my third year involved in the festival. The first year in 2021, I was involved as an artist. And then I loved it so much. I was like, I'm coming back here. And so last year I came back and as executive director, I started in August, but a lot of the pieces were already in motion. And so I'm happy to be here kind of in full capacity this year. So yay. So this year's festival is October 12th to 15th. We are here at volunteer training. I think, Jenna, you said we've got 110 people registered so far to volunteer this year?
Yeah, as of today, we have 110 and still counting. We still have still over a week out. We'll get more folks.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
Yes.
I'd also just like to acknowledge that this gathering and Nocturne Festival, Art at Night Festival, takes place in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I'd also like to share our Safer Spaces statement with you. So Nocturne is dedicated to providing safer spaces. Our aim is to host spaces that are widely accessible, amplify marginalized voices and leadership, and actively prioritize anti-oppressive principles. Our organizational goal is to provide inclusive events free from harassment and discrimination. In all Nocturne spaces, we will treat each other with respect and dignity and will not tolerate any discrimination or violence. This expectation includes, but is not limited to, racism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, ageism, sexualized violence, and all acts of violence and harassment. Building spaces that care for our various communities is deeply important to us, and we take these safety measures very seriously. I just want to briefly go over our agenda for the next 45 minutes to an hour. So I'll provide an introduction, talk a little bit about what is Nocturne, and then hand it over to Jenna to talk a little bit about volunteering and what that kind of looks like, and then opportunities to volunteer all year round if that's something that you're interested in. So I just wanted to first introduce you to the team. This is our entire board of directors that you can see kind of on the right-hand side, as well as our staff members right now, myself, Signe Holm, who is not here tonight, but is our programming coordinator and works closely with all the artists. Jenna, our volunteer coordinator. So this is our core group of people who keep the machinery running throughout the year and leading up to the festival, as well as our board of directors. So we do have a full board of directors right now. And a lot of folks who started off on the board actually did start off just volunteering for Nocturne for the night of, and have decided to join the team and make a longer commitment to the organization. So these are all the people who kind of work behind the scenes throughout the year to make it happen. So what is Nocturne? So Nocturne is a nighttime, generally art festival. It takes after Nuit Blanche, which started in Paris in the 90s as a night festival that runs from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And that is a format that's followed in a lot of places around the world. Toronto, Winnipeg, Saskatoon are a few Canadian cities that have Nuit Blanche festivals, and ours is special. Of course it is, because it's Nocturne. And we go from 6 to midnight, and we actually have a few days as part of our festival. So including our big night, which is the Saturday night, we also have programming, a bit of programming on the Thursday and the Friday and on the Sunday this year. Another important thing about Nocturne is that all of the events are free. Oh, here we go. Nocturne Art at Night is an annual contemporary art festival that brings art and energy to the streets of Kjipuktuk, Halifax each October. The completely free event showcases and celebrates the visual art scene in Mi'kma'ki, Nova Scotia. Nocturne is an opportunity for everyone to experience the art of Kjipuktuk, Halifax in a whole new light. Nocturne Art at Night is the full name of our nonprofit organization, and we work on building partnerships with local businesses and government to bring the city access to art and wonder with no barriers. So a little bit about the history of Nocturne. So it was founded, and the first festival took place in 2008 with about 4,000 people attending the first year. And 25 artist-led projects. As the festivals continued to grow year after year, with 40,000 people attending in 2017, the same year that it hired its first full-time executive director, Lindsay Corey, who was in the position until last year when I came on. So Lindsay was a huge part of building Nocturne and is still involved. Nocturne continues to work a lot with some of the same original community partners. A lot of folks have been involved year after year, and it wouldn't happen without community support and engagement. In 2020, Nocturne, because of COVID, hosted its first hybrid festival and continued to make art accessible during the pandemic, with between 509 people attending each visual art project, which is pretty spectacular. In 2021, we had 62 projects. Our 15th year, and that should be 2022 was our 15th year. This is our 16th year. And we have 80 projects this year, so we're still continuing to grow. And that includes all different types of projects: community projects, spotlight, anchor, and beacon projects, or juried projects, community projects, so on and so forth. Our mission is reads that Nocturne Art at Night celebrates contemporary professional art in Kjipuktuk, Halifax. Through our festival and additional programming, we use art as a catalyst for connection. Our vision is that Nocturne Art at Night is the premier art experience in a thriving community. Go through that. Our values that help guide the festival include creative and artistic excellence, collaboration and teamwork, innovation, professionalism, diversity and inclusivity, and sustainability. So most years, Nocturne does have a theme that helps guide our programming and kind of the ethos of the festival for the year. This year, we really took our theme to look inward and think about art at night and what we are, what Nocturne is, and a quote from one of last year's artists, Steph Bribison. Part of the point of Nocturne is to transform the city into a wondrous, meandering artscape, and for people to experience it in a way that they haven't before, for people to get swept up in it by accident. So really thinking about our Nocturne by the numbers, we have generally 150 volunteers, 60,000 visitors or attendees who come to the festival, about 100 artists over 4 days. Some of the highlights of this year's festival include walking tours. So new for 2023, we've included some sponsored walking tours that help folks kind of move through the festival in different ways, as well as get to understand art in different ways. Like one of the things that we often get is people are like, I really love Nocturne. Sometimes I'm not quite sure how a project might be art, or I need someone to help me understand the art of it. And so these Noc tours, as we're calling them, are intended to help people access the festival and access the artwork in different ways. So we've got 4 different Noc tours this year. The first one is an accessible Noc tour sponsored by Amera, and it's focusing on projects that have different accessibility elements in their core. So for instance, wheelchair accessible, they think about having access notes, they have ASL interpretation or captioning or you know, various different ways to reduce barriers to accessing art. And we are looking for volunteers for those tours as well. We also have a Marriott Noc tour, which is going to be down by the waterfront. We have a Downtown Halifax Business Commission sponsored Noc tour, which is going to focus on the downtown area. And then we have Indigenous Futures Noc tour as well, which is going to kind of start at Spring Garden and move a bit through downtown and focus on Indigenous artists as well. Another thing that we have this year is family-friendly programming at Dartmouth Commons. I'm not sure if many folks experienced Nocturne last year, but we did a really amazing thing. We had an artist, Adlin Thomas, who did a quiet parade at Fort Needham Park. And after like the chaos and energy and excitement of the Saturday night programming, it was nice to have this kind of slow art and low sensory project that people could go to on the Sunday. So capturing some of the ethos of that, we have a project by Corey Peters that's going to be taking place on the Sunday that we're going to be looking for participants to help with as well, or sorry, volunteers to help with as well. And it is a community engagement project as well. And it involves like simultaneous taking apart of blankets and turning them into pom-poms. So it should be really fun. The third project I wanted to highlight is the Noisemakers program, which is a summer art series that builds belonging, strengthens connections, and creates art in public spaces with newcomers and immigrants to Halifax. The program culminates in October with exhibition of work during the Fall Festival, and participants have been meeting over the last 14 weeks preparing projects. So that's going to be at the Prow Gallery.
Sorry to interrupt, Dina. Thank
Yeah.
you for reminding me.
So I'm sure a lot of folks have seen Nocturne on social media. Oops, sorry about that. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. Sorry, we kind of skipped ahead.
I don't want to see it, I just.
Okay.
No.
All right. So yeah, we have a fair amount of online presence, and we've moved our, not sure if folks can remember previous nocturnes where there was a printed guide with the Coast, but when the Coast stopped printing newspapers, we stopped doing the printed guide, unfortunately. So the last couple of years have been a transition where we've looked at putting the projects online. And so a lot of content will be on our website. I encourage folks to really explore the different projects and, you know, look at their descriptions and the locations. A lot of the projects are ones that you can volunteer to help the artist specifically with. Yeah, so there is a lot of sharing and information available online. And encourage you as well to follow and share content from the festival through your own social channels. So the festival schedule that I touched on before, so we start Thursday, October 12th with our primary or first artist talk, which is a panel that we're co-hosting with Visual Arts Nova Scotia. And it's around making art in Mi'kma'ki, and features a number of Indigenous artists, and they will be talking about their practices. That's going to be at the Halifax Central Library from 6 to 8 p.m. And folks can volunteer. If there's events, of course, that you are interested in, you can always attend as well. You don't always need to volunteer for them. You're welcome to attend any events. Everything is free and open to the public. On the Friday, we do have a number of artist talks that are taking place, either generally at the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia, at the Halifax Central Library, one that's going to be at Propeller Brewing, and another one that will be at Kyber Center. Friday evening is our launch party for all of our volunteers and artists. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be at Propeller Brewing. Come by, have a beer, and we're going to have fun donuts from Vandal Donuts as well. They're going to do some special Nocturne donuts for
Friday
us. So
evening. No, downtown. Propeller, isn't Propeller?
yeah, Propeller on Gottingen Street. There's a few different locations, but it's the one on Gottingen Street. And then on Saturday is our signature evening programming from 6 to midnight. And then Sunday is the project I mentioned earlier that will be at Dartmouth Commons. So our daytime friendly programming with artist Corey Peters, who's going to be here from Victoria, BC. And I think at this time, I will hand it over to Jenna.
Lovely. Thank you, Melanie, for talking a little bit about All Nocturne. I'm going to talk now about volunteering and what that looks like, and time commitments and all of those things. All right, Melanie, if you want to switch the slide. Thank you. Okay, so what is a time commitment? For the most part, when you see the shifts that you're able to pick yourself, they're about 3 hours. And the reason I keep them short is because, like Melanie said earlier, we want you to enjoy the festival as well. So if you're working Saturday evening from 6 to 9, you're still able to go catch some other shows, some other projects from 9 onward. Or vice versa, if you're 9 to 12 for the night aisles, you can enjoy the festival at the first part of it, or you can go out Thursday night or Friday night. Is it rain or shine? For the most part, yes. Melanie and I were just talking about that. We never ran into any issues before in terms of hurricanes or anything, but if it is raining, the festival will go on. So a lot of the shifts are outdoors, so make sure you come prepared. I know umbrellas aren't great in Halifax sometimes because it's so windy, but have your jacket on, maybe your boots, things like that. Just be prepared for the weather. If you would change the slide there, please.
Yeah, and just to follow up, I think in the 15 years that Nocturne has happened, it's only rained 1 year, is what I've heard.
That's
Someone
wild.
might correct me, but
Yeah,
knock on wood. And the weather is looking promising so far.
So this is a map that shows where Nocturne is happening. So it is happening in Halifax, and all of these yellow dots are where projects will be, but it's also happening in Dartmouth. So if you're living in Dartmouth or closer to Dartmouth, there are shifts available there for your if that's where you're closest to. It is mostly on the waterfront and at Alderley Landing. Let's switch the slide. So these are the two main roles that I will go into detail about. These two roles will be happening on the Saturday evening. So when all of the 80 projects are out in Halifax and Dartmouth, we will be having folks doing these two things. So the first role is the artist/venue support. So that is someone that will be stationed at a project with an artist. You'll be supporting that artist. So you may be welcoming folks into the space, engaging with the public, answering basic questions, talking a little bit about the art project or things like that the artist needs support with. The festival ambassador is another important role of the evening. So these folks will be showing folks other people walking around where to go. We'll have people stationed at Alderley Landing as a festival ambassador, at the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia, at Grand Parade, at the Halifax Waterfront, the Halifax Library, and I put Grand Parade again. But we'll have the ambassadors there. I'm trying to have 2 people at each place. So basically you're there to bring excitement around Nocturne. There's going to be lots of people out and about, and you want to share your excitement so they are engaged as well, because people will be out not actually for Nocturne, and maybe they'll run into you and you're like, have you heard of Nocturne? And anyways, then you can get the excitement going, kind of show them what projects are in the area that you're stationed at. And yeah, that's your job. You're the ambassador of Nocturne that evening. Right? Can you change the slide there? These are other important roles that you'll see on the shift selection platform. So Noctours here, they are the walking tours that Melanie talked about earlier. We recently changed the name to be Noctours just because we thought it was cute. So some of our old slides still say walking tours. Anyways, so these are the Noctours she was talking about. So we need one person for each walking tour to support the person that's actually doing the tour. And you'll see them on the platform when I send it out, where you can choose your shifts. I know Andrew, I think it was talking in the chat about wanting to do the accessible tour. So the Amera one is that. So you'll see it indicated, Amera walking tour or Amera Noctour, sorry. And then you can sign up for that. So the next is a photography assistant. So we do have 3 photographers that will be capturing all the projects on Saturday evening. And although I did say most of our shifts are 3 hours, these ones are a little bit different. They're a 6-hour commitment, but I will say they're a little bit different in the sense that you're going to be going around to different projects. So you're still going to be volunteering, yes, but you're going to be able to see so many more projects because you're going around with that photographer. So you might be holding a clipboard to keep them on track. You might hold some of their gear, all of those kinds of things, even just keeping them company because they're going around from 6 o'clock to 12 a.m. all evening. So if that's something you're into, we do need 3 dedicated folks to take on those 6-hour commitments. The next one you'll see is the Wayfinding Care Project. So this is a project that is concerned with supporting artists. So as part of this, you will be part of a group that's putting together care packages for artists, and then we'll have folks delivering it to those artists as they're working the evening of Nocturne. Of course, we do need some folks to help set up, tear down, and you will see shifts indicating that it is a setup or tear down shift. So we always appreciate those dedicated folks that are helping with that. And then the last other role is helping support us at our festival hubs. So I'll get into detail about where those are and what those are in a second, but you'll see that we need people for that on the platform that I'm sending out tomorrow. So tomorrow you'll be able to pick all your shifts. If it's one shift or if it's more shifts, you can do whatever you want because it's up to you and what your schedule looks like. Melanie, can you change the page here? Okay, so here is our volunteer swag. So everyone that volunteers with us gets a volunteer swag bag. So you'll see Sigmy here, who is our programming coordinator that we talked about earlier, and she is rocking our swag. So the bag is for everyone to keep, and the things in it are the hat that says volunteer, or sorry, it doesn't say volunteer, it says Nocturne on it. So those are yours to keep. The vest that Sigmy's wearing here indicates that you are a Nocturne volunteer, but it also has that like reflection kind of tape on it. So we're hoping it will keep you more visible in the evening for both traffic, but also for folks walking around. So they will see that you're a Nocturne Festival volunteer and they will come to you if they have any questions or want to chat. These things that we would like you to return to us. This is our commitment to sustainability. We've been using these vests for the last few years and we hope to continue using them. So at your convenience, if you could just drop it off at one of our hubs. Again, I will chat about those in a second so you will know how to access us, how to get your swag bag, how to get some treats during Nocturne. Melanie, if you could change that. Perfect. Okay. So this is our volunteer swag bag pickup schedule. I will say no need to remember this schedule. I will email it to all of you. But here are the locations. So 1361 Barrington Street. That is our main hub and there will be people there. Well, right now we're there quite often. So if you have any questions or want to chat, but starting on Tuesday, October 10th, from 12 to 4 p.m., we will be there to have your swag bags. Then Wednesday, October 11th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thursday, October 12th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Friday, October 13th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And Saturday, the big night of the festival we're going to be open 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. So if you live in, say, Sackville and you don't want to make an extra trip to come get your swag bag, you can come in at 5 o'clock on Saturday, get your swag, and then go to your shift. So we're hoping that's easier for folks to not make the extra trip. We also have a pop-up hub. So it's on the waterfront. It's a 1700 Lower Water Street, and it's called a pop can. So it's like a little hut kind of thing that you'll see will be there. There'll be flags. It's the whole thing. You can come chat with us. You can buy a vintage swag from us and also get your swag bags for this year, get some water, get some snacks, all of those things. Again, I will email us out to you.
I just want to make a small note that the location at 1361 is not wheelchair accessible. There are stairs, but the location at 1700 Lower Water Street it's more accessible. Yeah.
Sorry, you, Melanie.
Jenna.
No worries. Thank you. That was an important thing to add. Okay. I can't see this whole screen. Okay, here. So volunteer responsibilities. So I kind of touched on it earlier. So please check the weather forecast. Though I know it's not always reliable. We are in Nova Scotia, but try to dress appropriately. Bring some layers. You have your swag bag, put a coat in there, those kinds of things. And while you're on duty, please wear your vest so folks know who you are and you're visible, so you're staying a bit more safe. Please no alcohol or drug consumption while you're on duty, but also not beforehand either. We do not want you to be under the influence when you are working your volunteer shift. And try your best to keep the space safe for everyone, safe for artists, safe for spectators and other volunteers. Also, if you are having any problems, please report them to me. I will share my phone number as well. But I'd like to make clear that if there is an emergency, that do not call me, call 911 or someone else. Well, not someone else, but 911. I am not the person you call first for an emergency. Also be kind and have fun. This is though you're volunteering is super fun. You get to meet some people, engage with folks. We want everyone to have a good time. Right. Melanie, if you could change the slide. Perfect. Okay, so what to expect next? So I kind of talked about this earlier, but I will be sending out a schedule tomorrow where you can actually go in and sign up yourself. So down in the left-hand corner, that is the little logo for the platform I use to create your shifts. It's going to ask you for your name, your number, and your email. And the reason it asks for that is because it will send you a reminder as well. So I like this platform for that because it will tell you exactly where you go, what time it is, and it will remind you. Pick up your volunteer kit like we talked about earlier, and again I will email that out. And then last but not least, Melanie talked about this a little bit before, but come to our launch party on Friday night. There will be alcohol and non-alcoholic drinks for everyone. We'll have donuts there. It's going to be a good time to engage with artists, other volunteers, and just the general public. So we're excited to see everyone there. Again, it is the location on Gottingen Street.
And just another little side note, if you get there before, if you're interested, artist Myron Campbell from British Columbia has done a project there. It's an augmented reality project, and he will also be giving an artist talk that is from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock directly before. So everyone's welcome to come to that as well.
Make it a big night. Come for all of it. Love to see ya. All right. And so this is a little bit more helping us out year round. If you're really interested in Nocturne, keep an eye out for spaces for the board. I know Melanie did say we have a pretty big board right now. So I don't know if there's any spaces available, but I might actually let Melanie just chat about this quickly because she is the executive director. So Melanie, if you could just give a little bit of input on this.
Yeah. And I might just move ahead to the next slide. So so our board, works around the year round to make Nocturne happen. There are meetings that happen monthly, and generally it's about a 10-hour a month commitment. There's different committees that help support programming, our communications and marketing, governance, our finance committee. So are just a few, and yeah, it's a great way to kind of be involved and provide a bit of extra insight, or if you're really passionate about the arts and learning more about it, or just have some extra time, or have a very specific skill set that you're interested in giving to the festival through your time. We'd love to hear from you. We're always looking for new members. As Jenna mentioned, we do currently have a full board right now, but do get in touch because we're always looking for new people, and there's always a bit of turnover every single year. People who are interested, the process would be providing a resume and going through an interview process as well. And you can reach out to me if you have any questions about joining the board, or on our webpage, you can reach out to Jenna Harvey, who's our board chair.
Not to be confused with Jenna Giles, who I
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Melanie. Sorry for putting you on the spot. You just explained that piece a little bit better than me. But yeah, again, I think we're coming to the end of our presentation. I just wanted to say that thank you again for coming. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And if you're having trouble tomorrow signing up for shifts, you can totally pop into one of our hubs and we can help you with that. I will say it is pretty straightforward, so I can send you, when I send that to you, but again, feel free to reach out. Follow us on social media. We're showing a bunch of highlights of all the project. And if you're taking photos during the evening of Nocturne, or the weekend, I should say, hashtag us so we can see all of the fun memories. I think I'm going to open up the floor for any questions. Does anyone have one? All right. Well, if there's no questions, I'll let you all enjoy your evening. Melanie and I are getting good at keeping this under an hour. Proud of us here. Again, reach out if you have any questions. Thanks again, folks. Volunteer.